Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I serve up great quality content here on the channel, and I know I haven't been around for a while, but I have an update video coming in a bit. But for now, we have a Golden Trophy Speedrunners tier list. I made one on tiermaker.com. I'll have the link for it down in the description if you want to go ahead and make one yourself. But this is my official one right here, and this is based off of personal preference. This is my, what I think of the player, because I've played with most, if not all, of these players before, and some of them don't play anymore, some of them do still play, but other than that, I mean, I'm basing them off of their prime. I guess you could call it their prime if they haven't played anymore. How good are they? Also in terms of solos, duos, trios, and squads. So this is not just a solo time, because then a lot of these, basically most of the list would be S tier. But yeah, this is based off of how well can they play the game, how well can they perform, or have they been able to perform in the past. Without further ado, let's just get straight into this. So first off, we have Cyclone here. I say Cyclone, boom, starting off, solid A. He's good at soloing, duoing, trioing, and and four-man squads. Really, really, really good player. Just overall solid. Got quite a few world records with him back in the day, and it was a very, very fun experience. So yeah, hard worker, hard grinder as well. Next up, we have Rock Lobster, and Rock Lobster is interesting. I'm gonna put him at B tier because right in the middle, because Rock Lobster is solo good. For the amount of time that he can put in each day to play, his solo time is very good. But does he duo, trio, and play four-man? Not really. So it's kind of hard to base him off of those aspects, and I've never really played with him very much. So I would say Rock Lobster goes in the B tier for now. Mind you, at the end of the video, I will switch up some things that I maybe think need to be changed based on what I'm thinking. But for now, this is what we got. Next up, we have Anxroys. I'm placing Anxroys at probably a C tier. In his prime, he wasn't terrible at duoing and trioing and four-mans. His solo time was pretty good for the time. However, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, he belongs at high D tier, high D, low C, in my opinion. He is still a pretty good player. Just left the community really early, and we never really got to kind of see very much of him progress into the newer era of Golden Trophy speedrunning. So next up we have Snake, and I think Snake is a C tier. In my opinion, his solo time was really, really, really good. Really, really good. But again, duoing, trioing, playing four-mans, never really saw much of him doing that. However, I have been able to play with him a few times doing that. So I think he is definitely a little bit better than Anxroys. In his prime, he was. But obviously, maybe not right now. Yeah, Snake, C tier. Next up, we have Golden Fishy, and I think Golden Fishy is also in C tier, but he is better than Snake in terms of duos and trios and four-man. Mainly because, again, I really haven't been able to judge Snake too much on that. His solo time is worse than Snake, so I guess maybe I'll bump him down a bit for that, but he is still on the same tier. He's still C tier, along with Snake. So next up we have Kami. And Kami, he deserves an S. He deserves to be an S because of his consistency and his ability to maintain the meta, even though he's really not playing that much. Every couple weeks or months or so, he'll come back and he'll pop close to a sub 5, which is still really good. And then he'll kind of leave for a bit and then come back and still do really, really well. Good duo, trio, four-man player as well. And really nothing else much to say about Kami. He's just overall solid, consistent player. Next up, we have Cyclic Wand. And obviously, Cyclic Wand, S tier. There was nowhere else this man could be but S tier. I mean, one of, if not the greatest Golden Trophy players of all time. Just, every world record in the book. Optimized the game so much, did so much for the community. So yeah, I think Cyclic Wand is a big fat S tier. Next up, we have Pepe_1. Pepe, I don't know where to put Pepe because in his prime, I would have put him at S tier. In his prime, I would have put him at S tier. But I'm gonna honestly have to drop him down to like an A tier. Because, I don't know. Pepe, again, prime Pepe was just so good. Really, really, really good. But it's been a fat minute since he's done speedrunning. A really, really long time. And, there's tons of duo, trio, 4-man runs out there to view him on. And, again, those are all really, really, really good times. But, yeah, I'm going to have to put him at A tier. Chaos, otherwise known as Eli. I'm gonna have to put him at top of B tier. Solo time's really good because he can consistently, just like Kami, he can come back and he can get good times on solo, on Quest standalone, mind you. Really good times, day in and day out. But he just doesn't play the game as often anymore. And honestly, duoing and trioing and playing 4-mans with him, he was fun to play with and he was good. But I really wouldn't say to the level of Cyclic Kami or Cyclone, or even Pepe. So yeah, I would put him at a strong high B tier. And mind you, there's no tier lower than D because I don't think any player in this tier list belongs lower than D tier. Yeah. Cosmo is our next up, and he is at S tier. I don't want to put him higher or lower than Kami because I think he is very much on the skill level of both Kami and Cyclic. I mean, maybe Kami's a little bit worse because, again, he doesn't play as consistent. But, Cosmo currently holds a solo world record, but is, in my opinion, on par with, Cyclic. I mean, maybe even I would put him better than Cyclic at some points. But, yeah, that's where he belongs, in S tier. Sadie is next. And Sadie, again, I think Sadie is a strong pick for top of B tier. Better than Eli. But again, I don't think as strong as Prime Pepe or a little bit after Prime Pepe. But yeah, Sadie's still really good. Plays the game a lot still. So yeah, Sadie's a good B tier. Next, Orville's Popcorn. I'm sorry, Orville, but you are going dead last at the bottom of D tier. He's good at Crimson. Don't get me wrong. He's really good at Crimson, but just not there for Golden, in my opinion. Still good with the bow, but yeah, no. Sadly, he has to be at the bottom of D tier. Next up, DeMikes. Now, DeMikes, I would say, again, he's a B tier, and he is better than... I wouldn't say he's better than Eli, but he is better than Rock Lobster, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are going to go after me being like, Rock Lobster, are you serious? You're going to put him at bottom of B tier? He's still good, but I just think he is so much better at Crimson Cauldron than he is at Golden Trophy. And his good solo time doesn't make up for his, average trio and duo and 4-man runs, at least from what I've seen, mind you. From what I've seen. DeMikes, is a good solo player and a very average duo, trio, 4-man player. He can go hand in hand with Rock Lobster here. I'm going to be honest. Next up, we have Bothaya. Bothaya belongs at... Oh, he belongs at S tier. No, I'm just kidding. Bothaya, Prime Bothaya, he would belong at S tier, because nobody here except for maybe Pepe was playing the game back then. But Bothaya, I'm going to have to put at C tier. Still pretty good, still. I'm going to be honest. He's still pretty good. But just not really better than a lot of these other players, I think. I don't really know how well he's adapted to, because there's only been like one run from what I've seen, 4-man with Bothaya currently, like his current state. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Bothaya at C tier. Next up, we have Phaseless. And Phaseless, I'm going to put Phaseless at A tier, I think. Phaseless is pretty good. He's a really good duo player, and he's really good at solos, but he's kind of average at trios and 4-man. I think I would actually put him at B tier. I think I'm going to put him at B tier. That's my final with Phaseless. B tier, again, average trio and 4-man, but pretty good at duos and really good at solos. I'm not trying to base this all off of solo times here. Next, Tunde. I don't know how to say his name, but man, I don't really know how he plays. These next two, Tunde and Day, I don't really know how they play that well. Again, this is a solo player that I don't ever see play duos or trios or 4-man. And for that, I'm going to probably have to dip him probably above DeMikes, but in B tier for sure. Next up, Day, or Day of OFC. I think he's, obviously he's a really good solo player. I'm pretty sure he plays on Quest standalone. I'm not sure though. Really good, but I think he's better than Tunde. But I think DeMikes is also better than Tunde, so I'm gonna put Tunde at C tier. Yeah, I think that looks about good. I don't really know how these two players play that well. But just kind of basing it off their solo times, Tunde is a C tier player. Next we have Preflex, and I think Preflex also belongs in the D tier, due to just him. He was really good at Crimson, comes over to Golden Trophy, and he was pretty good at Golden for the time. But I'm going to be honest, his duo and his trio, like, times and being able to play, like, a duo or trio or 4-man, he would tend to want to take the primary routes a lot of the times, and it just it never really worked out for him in the long run. So, yeah, I'm going to stick him at D tier. Not really the best of players. Next, we have Willaf. And I think Willaf is a strong B tier. I think he's better than DeMikes, but not quite as good as like Rock Lobster or Eli. And then just basing it off solo times, maybe a little bit worse than Day. I'm not sure though. Again, it's a little bit tough. I think he's definitely better than DeMikes though. Next up, we have Sonya, and I think Sonya belongs at B tier. I'm going to bump Phaseless up to A tier. Actually, no, I'm going to keep him there for now. But I think Sonya belongs at B tier. And I think he's a little bit better than Sadie. Um, maybe a little bit worse now, but Sonya, he really again doesn't really play the game that much anymore. Let alone golden trophies, kind of gone from the speedrunning community. And yeah, I mean, he was good solo time, really good solo time, but duoing, trioing, and four man, it was just hard because of time zones, but also again, very when we were able to, it's pretty good. It wasn't too bad. Next we have Myron. Now I think Myron is a C tier. Um, Probably better than Golden Fishy and better than Bothaya. But now, obviously he plays dodgeball and he doesn't really play Golden Trophy. Solo time was pretty good. Never really duoed or trioed or did four mans, but that's he's about C tier. Next we have Cody. I think Prime Cody is a solid A tier. Cody is like good. He's a good player. Very slow shooter though. He was very good aim and had a lot of world records for like trio and four man and duo time as well. And he also had a really good solo. So just all around a pretty good player. And I'm gonna put him under Pepe at A tier. Next we have Jimmy, and I think Jimmy's also an A tier. I think he's a little bit better than Phaseless just because he has that experience with trios and four mans and duos, and also he also has a really good solo time as well. So he's kind of like got all that experience in there. Next we have Tiki Tak, and I think Tiki Tak is a strong like good B tier. He's a high B tier in my opinion. And yeah, I think Tiki Tak, good walk player as well, mind you, and also really good on teleport. But again, I've seen a couple of duo and trio times from him, and yeah, I think he's a high B tier. Next we have Brackets, and Brackets again I think is a B tier, maybe a little bit worse than Phaseless. Kind of can go hand in hand with Sadie, but yeah, I mean Brackets I've seen, he does trios and four mans on occasion, but isn't really too like crazy with that kind of stuff. But it's still also a really good, still pretty good solo time as well. Next we have Splay, and again I think I think Splay is also in B tier as well. Maybe a little bit worse than Sonya, a little bit worse than Rock Lobster, but definitely a good B tier. Also pretty good at trios and four mans. I'm gonna be honest. Duos and not so much, but it's also really good solo times. So, yeah, B tier. Next we have Loxinator, and Loxinator I think is also gonna go in at C, but I think he's better than Myron. I think he's a little bit worse than Prime Myron, but better than Golden Fishy definitely. Not the solo time really, and duo and trio and four man times, but I can definitely see him getting better and progressing in the future, for sure. Healthy Llama, classic man. Healthy Llama. I would actually stick him. Prime Healthy Llama would probably be S tier or A tier, but Healthy Llama, man, I don't really know where to stick him because he's odd. He's definitely better than Bothaya. I would say he's better than Golden Fishy. If he's better than Lox, I think so. Yes, maybe. And Myron, I would even say he's probably better than, and even Tunde, I would say, Healthy Llama, he's a high C tier. He's close to a B tier, I would say. I would even say he's probably better than Snake because he did try to come back for a bit and he was doing really well with us for like a little bit, and then he quit again. But yeah, I would say Healthy Llama is a high C tier. And then next up we have Skipper, and Skipper is an S tier. Of course, the granddaddy father of Golden Trophy. I mean, baby girl Skipper, definitely an S tier. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But yeah, this is the tier list. I'm gonna change a few. So I'm gonna put Demike's down here. Demike's, I would say, again, his solo time is good, and Healthy doesn't have the solo time. But if Healthy came back like full time, and we wanted to, and everybody actually properly ran with him, he would be able to get good enough. Because, I mean, he was keeping up with us, and he was doing pretty well. But, yeah, I would say Demike's is a little bit lower than that. And, Day, I think Phaseless is also going to have to go up here in A tier as well. But I don't think he's, like, as good as Jimmy is. But yeah, I think this is going to have to be the tier list. So for S rank here, at S, we have Cyclic Wand, Cosmo, Skipper, and Kami. For A, we have Cyclone, Pepe, Cody, Jimmy, and Phaseless. For B tier, we have Tiki Tac, Brackets, Sadie, Sonya, Chaos, also known as Eli, Rock Lobster, Splay, Day, and Willath. For C tier, we have Healthy Llama, Demikes, Snake, Tunde, Myron, Loxinator, Golden Fishy, and Bothia. And then for D tier, we have Angsteroids, Preflex, and Orville's Popcorn. So yeah, that is my Golden Trophy Speedrunner tier list based on my personal preference, based on my experience playing with each player. I think I'm gonna do that, but I think that's where it's gonna have to be for now. That's my personal preference. If you guys want to do your own, I'll leave a link down in the description, but it probably won't be up for very long because for some reason, in order to have a tier maker account, you also have to have a Twitter account. I'd make a Twitter account for this crap, and I absolutely hate Twitter, so I'm going to go delete that right after this video. So if you guys are able to access this, cool. Make your own, post them in the Golden Trophy League Discord. That would be pretty cool. I'd love to see everybody make their own. But if it's not up, then I'm very, very sorry. I did put a lot of effort into this. So subscribing to the channel for update video. It's gonna be out, like I said. But yeah, other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. See ya.